everyone. Just giving it a couple minutes here for some people to get on. I know I'm just starting this, and it's a little short notice as to me doing this, but I wanted to do this for you guys. So I wanted to come on live here from Symphony of the Seas, just north of the Dominican Republic that we just left about 4:30 or about 5 o'clock today. So a reason I wanted to go live from the ship, which as you guys can tell I'm on. So this is just a little back end of our ship that we're on called Symphony of the Seas with Royal Caribbean. So obviously Mother Nature has different plans and doesn't like to let me enjoy a cruise and decides to throw Hurricane Milton at us. So, and just so you guys know, if the internet connection is slow or I get spotty or it blinks out and comes back, I am on ship internet, and the ship internet is absolutely phenomenal. It's powered by Starlink, so we shouldn't have a problem. It's the same stuff we use in the field. But it's a big ship, so there's a lot of people using the internet. But I wanted to come on live, and actually, literally just about 2 seconds ago, Andrew just messaged me and told me that Hurricane Milton has officially made landfall. So that means that the majority of Hurricane Milton's eye is now on land, and we should start to see this hurricane begin to disintegrate. But as you guys have been seeing and following our page, Andrew's been posting a lot of updates and doing a really good job keeping everyone informed and everything as to what's going on with Milton. And we've been, we've really been preaching about people that live in the Florida area that are going to take a hit by this to get out. And a lot of people are saying, oh, look, it already downgraded to a Cat 3, stuff like that. But I want to stress that it doesn't matter what its making landfall is. This is going to have significant impacts. And the reason for that is we've seen things that Milton did that are almost against every law of physics and meteorology. And Andrew actually just shared an amazing article about an hour ago from a meteorologist that said that there's not even really terms or meteorological terms to explain what Milton's done, for the fact that it was so powerful and so strong that Earth's atmosphere mathematically can't generate something like Milton. And I even posted a lot on my personal page and the Stormchaser page saying Hurricane Milton was, I believe it maxed out at 185 miles an hour or 180, somewhere around there. And an EF5 tornado is 200 miles an hour. So if you can imagine pretty much an EF5 tornado that's the size of Milton with a lot of rain, this is why we push so many warnings, updates, and telling people to get out, because this storm was doing things that I don't want to say we've never seen, because there's been a lot of other storms and stuff, but it almost physically didn't make sense, or the atmosphere couldn't hold it. And one of the things that I seen actually earlier was an enhanced infrared and satellite and radar imagery from Milton, and you could actually see gravitational waves coming out of the eye of Milton. And what that is it's winds that are so strong that the atmosphere can't hold it. And it causes these gravitational winds to ripple out of the eye. And that's exactly what we were seeing up pretty much to landfall. So I know a lot of people have just jumped on, and I just want to let you guys know, Hurricane Milton has officially made landfall. So I believe that comes at 8:44, I believe, is the landfall. 8:45. I'm sure Andrew will post the official landfall time. But just to give you guys an update. So again, as you can see, I'm on a cruise ship. I'm on Royal Caribbean Symphony of the Seas, and we ported out of New Jersey on Sunday, and we were supposed to go to Port Canaveral, Florida, perfect day at Coco Cay in the Bahamas, and then Nassau, Bahamas. And as soon as we boarded the ship, that all went bye-bye. They canceled the entire itinerary and started and rerouted us down to the Dominican Republic and Labadee, Haiti. So we actually made it to the Dominican this morning. We ported there. It was a beautiful day. It was a hot day. It was mid-90s and really hot. And then as soon as we boarded the ship and we were ready to take off, of course, they canceled Haiti. So right now, we're just north of the Bahamas. I'll kind of show you the back. I don't know if you guys can see anything. So there's actually an aqua show going on down there if you guys are wondering where the music's coming from, and there's our wake. But just back there is actually the Dominican Republic. We're north of the Dominican, and another reason I kind of chose this spot is this right here. This right here. These are the smokestacks to the engines of our ship. And to show you kind of the urgency of what's going on, one thing you can actually see from here is there's 4 engines, actually I believe there's 6 engines on this ship. I'm not 100% sure. But they've got every single engine running right now, full steam, full power, and we're going faster than I thought this ship could actually do. What we're doing is, as we were watching Milton's track, as the days kept coming, we were supposed to go to Haiti tomorrow and then start jetting north back to Jersey to port and pick up the next crew. Sorry guys, they're turning music on, so it's getting a little loud. But as I was seeing the track and then our timing of when we were supposed to go north, I was noticing that we're gonna intercept Milton. As soon as it gets out of Florida and comes into the Atlantic, our track is gonna meet up with Milton. So obviously they seen the same thing today and decided to cancel Haiti, and now we're going full steam ahead. And I mean full steam because this is a lot of exhaust coming out of this ship. They've got these engines pushing full power, and we're trying to dart north as fast as possible to try and get north of Milton's track so that, it can come in behind us and we're well north and stay out of its way. But this entire cruise, we were supposed to have 3 stops from the original itinerary and then 2 stops from our backup itinerary, which turned out to be 1 port, and now we're heading back home. And you can see that the ship is full steam ahead. So we're booking north right now, and the reason for that is because when Hurricane Milton exits Florida, it's going to cross the Atlantic, and it would have crossed into our path and put this ship right in the center of it. So even though we're darting north and we're pretty much in a race against Milton, hopefully it doesn't pick up steam, because if it does, we're going to end up right in the center of it and it's going to get rough. But even though we're darting north, it's still going to be a rough ride. So I thought it'd be a really cool time to kind of come on and show you guys. I'm out here in the middle of the Caribbean right now, about to come up to the Bahamas, and we're actually literally 100% racing Hurricane Milton right now on a cruise ship. So, but I just thought I want to explain to you guys that, I've seen a lot of things about drama with this hurricane and meteorologists being wrong and everything like that, and I don't want to say I'm offended, but we do our absolute best to try and provide everyone with as accurate of info as possible without dramatizing it. We try to be straightforward so that when we come across and say things like, you guys need to get out, you need to take this seriously, this is nothing to joke around with, that people actually listen. And fortunately, it looks like a lot of people did listen. Now, one of the updates that I seen, and I actually just read the update before I left. So Hurricane Milton is now down to a Category 3 with 120 mile an hour winds. That's great. That's exactly pretty much what we thought. We were actually thinking it would probably be a Cat 4, but that was actually dependent on a storm front that was coming in that was going to steer Milton, and not only steer Milton, but it would also provide a source of wind shear. And of course it did that. It pushed a lot of wind shear into the storm, shredding it apart up in the upper atmosphere and causing it to weaken. So now that the hurricane is actually 100% on shore and has officially made landfall as of 5 minutes ago or so, we should start to see major decay in this hurricane. So now, for those that were following us, the biggest concern with Milton was the path of it and it looked like it was taking more of a northern trajectory. And what that would have done was it would have put that northeast quadrant into the Tampa Bay area of Florida. And if that happens, the winds would have been coming onshore from the ocean, and that pushes water into Tampa Bay. And that would have provided pretty much unsurvivable storm surge into Tampa Bay and would have caused major devastation. As you guys seen, the track, I believe it was yesterday or late the night before, the National Hurricane Center actually dropped that track a little further south into, I believe it was not Daytona, Fort Lauderdale, I believe. And that brought, kind of brought the hopes of Tampa Bay up a little bit that they weren't going to take a direct hit and get the storm surge that was originally expected out of Hurricane Milton. And that's turning out to be an accurate forecast. The eye was south of Tampa Bay. Now, Tampa Bay's not scot-free out of this. They are already experiencing storm surge, but now that it's been shifted south, the winds are more of a north instead of a west to east or even southwest to northeast, and therefore won't push so much water into the Tampa Bay. What it's actually doing now is pulling water out of Tampa Bay and into the Gulf of Mexico, which has happened before. I believe Ian was another one that actually drained Tampa Bay, literally, where you could actually see the bottom of the bay floor. I'm actually watching the comments. One of our storm chasers, Jackson Hickey, is actually down in St. Petersburg along the Tampa Bay area, and he just commented saying that the winds are absolutely wicked. And I don't know, Jackson, have you experienced, I don't know if you're experiencing an outer eye wall right now, or if you're actually experiencing or in the eye or about to be in the eye. But I know Jackson's actually down there right now that he's chasing this hurricane as well. So the good news away from this is Milton shifted south, taking Tampa Bay out of a potentially storm of the century, possible wipeout zone, if you will, to more of a manageable. It's still going to be devastating, but it's a little bit more manageable, and it's not going to push water into the bay. It's actually pulling water out of the bay. That's what a lot of us were hoping for, and it looks like that's going to be true. So Hurricane Milton right now is actually going to be tracking across Florida. I'm just seeing an update here from Jackson. So it looks like he's in the north side of the eye wall. The eye missed him here and is in extreme wind warning. So yeah, Jackson's in the thick of it right now, and I don't know if he's streaming or putting updates. I know he put a video up earlier from Tampa Bay. You can go check him out, and I'm sure maybe we'll share it to our Storm Chaser page. Andrew, if you're watching, if you want to actually share Jackson's video of him in Tampa Bay onto the Storm Chase page, you guys can kind of get a feel for what he's experiencing down there. So as the storm tracks, you're talking in the places like Orlando, Cape Canaveral is another big one. Daytona Beach, I believe, is another area. So as the storm treks across Florida, it's actually going to start pulling moisture from the Atlantic into Florida and causing a storm surge on the eastern side of Florida. So the east coast of Florida is not out of the woods, and I know that because Port Canaveral's closed. I know that because we were supposed to be there, and we're actually supposed to be there next weekend, but now that's up in the air as well, because depending on the damage severity and what the port status is, we may not end up even porting in Cape Canaveral. And then, of course, we're supposed to do the Bahamas again next week. Of course, that's all up in the air depending on the path and devastation that Milton causes. So that video was around noon along the bay, and it was already so intense at that time. Can't imagine what it looks like there right now. So yeah, we'll share that video that Jackson put up. And then after it hits like the Space Coast, Port Canaveral, Daytona areas, it's going to be heading out into the Atlantic Ocean. And that's actually what my cruise ship that I'm on right now is trying to race right now. We don't want to end up in the middle of that on a ship. Of course, this ship could handle it. And I'm a storm chaser, so I say send it right in the center. But of course, safety is paramount to these guys, and they will do everything to keep us safe. And they've done a good job so far, regardless of how disappointing it may be of us missing port. So if you guys are watching, have any questions or anything like that, I'm going to be on for a few more minutes. You're welcome to ask questions and I'll answer it. But again, I'm on Symphony of the Seas with Royal Caribbean, and one of the reasons I chose this spot is to show you guys this right here. This is our exhaust from our engines, and the reason I'm showing you this is because this is what all engines full power look like. And he's really put the pedal to the metal, trying to get north as fast as possible to try and get out of Milton's path before it starts reaching this area. Now I expect tomorrow, and I may go live again, or Friday, it all depends, but we should be able to start seeing Milton from the ship. So it should be off to our port side as we're trying to dart north. We might get a big lightning show. And of course, again, I don't want to make promises that I'm going to go live because it all depends on the waters and stuff. We are expecting a rough ride back home, just because we're going to be in a fairly close proximity to Milton. And as Milton starts to weaken, the wind field kind of expands out as the storm starts falling apart. So stay tuned. Obviously, you guys, if you know anyone in Florida, you're more than welcome to share the page. Tell them to keep in touch, to keep an eye on our page. Andrew's been doing an absolute phenomenal job putting updates up, all these specific things that are going on with Milton. And even Jackson, I'm sure Jackson will probably share some stuff too and do more videos and all that as well. But feel free to share the page. Our goal is to try and get as much information as possible. Heck, I'm on a cruise. I'm supposed to be enjoying my cruise. Instead, I wanted to keep our followers updated. Andrew's been doing a lot of the work since I've been abroad, and I wanted to kind of just come on and do a live video, purchase the internet package so I can do this and show you guys where I'm at, what's going on, because I know a lot of you guys knew I was on a cruise and stuff, and making sure I'm safe. We're safe. Don't worry about us. Instead, focus on the people in Florida. They need it more than I do. I'm safe. I'm fat. I'm happy. I'm fed. I'm on a cruise ship. Those guys, in all out seriousness, are going to need help. I know it's only a Cat 3 storm, but you guys don't realize what that storm is going to do and is in the process of doing. But I just want to thank you guys for another thing I wanted to touch about. Not only is Hurricane Milton providing all these really high winds and really high surf, one of the things that happened see the lightning? There was lightning over there. There was actually lightning already. I don't know. I think that's just a regular storm. We're still way far away from Milton. But one of the things that started happening a few hours ago is as the outer bands started reaching Florida, it started laying down these massive tornadoes. And I mean like these large wedge tornadoes. I'll actually, when I'm done with the live, I'll put a picture up of one of the pictures that was sent to me. And again, I've got Jackson out in Florida. He can send me pictures, and Andrew pictures, and we can put it up on Facebook. But this one actually came from one of my buddies down there that live in Florida too. So it was just this massive black wedge, and I think my dad also lives in Florida as well, and he said they've had 19 confirmed tornadoes already. That's just within the past few hours. Just within the past few hours. This one outer band just laid down all these tornadoes everywhere. It's hard to imagine. It's really hard to chase tropical tornadoes. They lay down quick and they come up quick, but they can be massive in size as well. So, but again, guys, stay tuned. We're going to keep posting updates and everything. Again, if you know family in Florida, keep in touch with them. I know I told my dad, I said I wanted a couple hours or a few hour updates every few hours, you know, whether he's without power or flooding, how he's doing. I know my last update from him, he said that they're already on generator power, so they've already lost power, and this thing just made landfall. He actually lost power before it made landfall. So again, guys, focus on Florida. Don't focus on me. I'm safe. I'm happy. I'm on a cruise ship. My focus and the reason why I'm doing this live and helping the team, we just want to get information out and try to keep people safe. It's been really rough. It's been an up and down battle with this storm. It's pretty much followed exactly what was going to happen. It's a little weaker. I thought it would come up as a Category 4, but I know there was a frontal zone that was going to interact with it and provide wind shear that would weaken it, and of course it did. So that's good news. But again, it doesn't matter what category this storm made landfall as. It's what this storm has done up to this point. And all the records it broke. It went from nothing to a Cat 5 in, I think, the fastest time ever in recorded history for the Gulf of Mexico. And it's tied for 5th, I believe, from the Atlantic Basin as far as how fast it grew. So, and of course, as I stated earlier in the video, and Andrew shared it on our page, it makes almost makes no meteorological sense or physics sense of how it did what it did. So that's what's got everyone concerned, and every meteorologist screaming from the top of their lungs to evacuate and avoid this storm. I used to be a Floridian. I grew up in Florida. I know Floridians are tough. They think of hurricanes as just a regular thunderstorm, but I'm so happy, proud of every Floridian that listened and prepped and evacuated and everything. They did a great job and kind of put their pride to the side and put safety in mind. And you guys are awesome. You guys are the real heroes for listening. And I know some people stayed back. I know my dad stayed back because he's a pastor of a senior park and is helping there. And there's brave soldiers out there. Heck, Jackson Hickey, our own Stormchaser, is by Tampa Bay out there chasing to try and provide coverage of what's happening to try and help save lives and those that are there. So again, guys, I just want to thank you all for coming on board Symphony of the Seas with me and allowing me to provide you guys this update. You guys are awesome. Thank you all for following. Please share the page, invite people to like the page. We're going to stay on top of this all the way through. And like I said, I don't want to make any promises. I may go live again tomorrow or Friday as we start reaching our closest point to Milton on the ship. And a number of people stayed on their boats in the bay. Oh, wow. Jackson told me that some people stayed on their boats on the bay. I don't quite know what sense that makes, but I'm not going to get into that. So, but again, I don't want to make promises because depending on the seas, it may be too rough for me to go live. And of course, the internet could be spotty and stuff, but stay tuned to the page. I'll announce if I plan on going live either tomorrow or Friday. And of course, in the meantime, we're going to keep posting updates. So again, from Symphony of the Seas, this is Mitch Bellinger signing off. As always, eyes to the skies all. Have a great night.